Good morning. This is Ballet Bar Fitness with Miss Stephanie, and it is core day. It's core day. So start with your regular warm up. Do two big breaths in, and then we can start across. Here you are, and you have the added enhancement at this point of always starting with your little weights here. So you can, I'm not going to do that because I do like to incorporate those later, so my warm up is at a different level than my actual work. But if you are a beast and you're gonna do all of the enhancements later, then you could start with your weights now because you're gonna build from there. But I guess what I'm saying is if I start with my weights now, that is all the enhancement there's gonna be for me. Reaching up and down through your spine. And then you can come center in a fitness squat and squat down. If you've got your weights, you can swing them up. Always remembering to keep your lower back long and your abdominals supported and lifted to protect your body there. Two more. And one more. Then come to the end of your mat. I always put my bar socks on too soon. I cannot wear my bar socks when I do these lunges. Oh, breathe up and back. And you can start your twist right away, like I say every time. Or you can join me for 4 pulses with both hands down to warm up the hips a bit more if you need that. If you have tight hips, I recommend you do here. If you have pretty flexible hips, you would be able to just start with the twist. So then my 4 with 4 pulses, and now I'm going to twist. And I still keep pulsing through all of that. Whew. Oh. Beast planks we're going to do today for our core. That's my last one on the left. You can come down to your knees for a moment. And we're going to do a beast plank. Beast plank is found with your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. And then you flex the toes, lift your knees up off the ground, and maintain that position. You want to keep your back flat the whole time, right? So you can hold that position if that's where you're at today, okay? You can also, I'm going to demonstrate what else you can do. You can do these one hand up to touch the shoulder, alternating while holding that position, but make sure that your hips don't rock or lift when you're doing that. So Miss Lizzie and I have discovered that we can touch the inside of our elbow without our hips rocking, but if we reach all the way up to our shoulder, our hips rock no matter what. Placement is more important than range of motion. It's kind of always almost the case. I'm gonna lift. Whew. Oh, my hips are moving anyway. Dang it. Oh, come back down out of that. Press back into your hips. Oh, and bend your knees and roll up. And come center to second position. Now I'm gonna pick up my weight. And we're gonna start, with that movement from warm up. Now I'm using a lunge. When I did the warm up today, I did that extension, which doesn't feel like a lunge because it's not. But I want that lunge now because then I'm gonna stop in the center and I'm gonna do my contractions and open. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna incorporate those here. I'm gonna contract when I lunge, open in second. Whew. Bringing your belly button into your spine, curving, and then bringing it back. Every time you come to second, come back to your ballet placement of the spine center. Whew. Rest. You can keep those weights if you want for this next part, but I don't want them. We're gonna come into second position again and bring your hands out to, in fitness, we sometimes call these a goalpost arm, or in yoga, like a goddess pose. Then you can hold your weights if you've got them, and then we're tipping side to side. Now, when we do that, we're keeping the front of our shoulders and the front of our hips, that hip bone, those are all pointed straight forward. So we're not twisting side to side as we tip. And then you can intensify this by going, instead of going tip, center, you can leave out center and just go tip, tip, tip. Okay? And of course you can add those weights. And then you can also add, extend the arms, extend, extend. If you've got a mirror or a camera, you can use a camera as a mirror. You don't have to be recording yourself, but you can just see an image of yourself. Make sure you're making a straight line. And these arms here, whew, come up out of that. Did I just miss attitude marches, Miss Desiree?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're doing? Okay, so we're gonna do attitude marches. You can hold your weights above your head in third position. Gripped third position though, okay, rather than having your hands apart. Here you are. We start from first, and we're doing those. I don't have my weights. I'm going to just hold my arms up here, which is hard enough for me, thank you very much. Remembering that this is core day, I'm gonna pay special attention to where my core is in this exercise. I'm gonna lift up through my abdominal muscles. I'm gonna lengthen through my lower back. I'm gonna keep my pelvis stabilized rather than, I'm not gonna let myself shrink down thusly each time. Although later I think we're gonna do that. 2 more and finish. Whew. And remember that you can jump those attitude marches if you want. And if you do, it feels great to alternate your arms when you do that. You can also alternate the arms to add a bit of cardio and not do the jump. So you have options is what I'm saying. Then you can take that into a knee here instead. And again, now we are not using our ballet placement. We are squeezing. We're not focusing on running the back. That's not the goal. But the goal is this contraction of the bottom of your rib cage to the top of your hips, squeezing. Right there. Each time. Squeeze so that squeeze so hard that you squeeze some air out of your lungs. Oh, take a rest. Hang on to your weights if you like, or you can put them down. We're gonna do some really nice work in curtsy lunge, okay? So our curtsy lunge starts in a parallel second, and then you step back behind yourself on the corner so that if you're looking at yourself straight on, where I put myself in the camera, my back foot is in line with my front foot, more or less, okay? And as opposed to, and my legs are turned out at the hips. Here they are, okay? I'm gonna go back to my camera, or it's a mirror, and bring my arms up here. I can go curtsy lunge, and then squeeze up into a knee. Curtsy lunge, 2 pulses, squeeze up into a knee. Curtsy, and squeeze, curtsy, and squeeze. There you are, and then you go to do the other leg. Whoa, almost ended up on the floor. 1 more. Take a tiny pause, put your weights down, and we're gonna come to the floor and do some more of that V work that we did. If you joined us for yesterday's video, We did some of this at home. So your most basic V is feet flat on the ground, knees bent, back straight. I talked about that a lot yesterday. Draw your abs in and let your low back be long. Okay, there you are. And then you take and you hinge back with that flat back. So you can see, maybe I'll just stand this way. You can see I'm going to keep my back straight. I didn't hinge back to a rounded place. I'm going to keep my back straight. You can hold here and just do tiny pulses. Okay, and then you can intensify that by raising up onto your demi point. And we talked about it yesterday. You can straighten one leg at a time to start experimenting with what that feels like. And then when you're ready to, you can try extending both. And I'm going to show you, you can extend both and do a tabletop with your lower leg in order to start that two-footed thing in your practice. Always try to keep your back flat. And then if you can, keep your back flat and extend your legs, which I cannot do, and stay sitting upright, then you can do that as well, and you're pulsing. But you're in one of those positions, and you're pulsing while I'm talking about all of this. And then you can come to rest. Okay, did we go down? Did I miss?
Yes.
Desiree, did we go down on our back more fully?
Yes.
That's the one I'm so good at.
Instead of bicycles, you're just doing one side at a time. So both
Ooh.
legs out, and then just start.
One leg in and out.
Yeah, just
Cool.
one side at a time.
Okay, in that case, if you are using resistance loops, this next exercise is great with a resistance loop. So now you're in what Pilates people call a low C. Now you have your mid back, like the back of your rib cage is on the floor. Your shoulders are still off the floor. Your shoulder blades. So not just like the tops of your shoulders, shoulder blades off. And you're curving in a C, right? Think about your abdominals as like a C, they're concaving in. Then you have your knees together. You gotta flex your feet here,
Yes.
otherwise you'll lose your resistance band.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta flex them anyway, even if you're not using
You
it?
do, but it's kind of a challenge when you're used to having your toes pointed.
That's right, it is. So that's good for us anyway, okay? So then you hold this low C, excuse me, you have two knees bent, and as Ms. Desiree says, you do one leg over and over again. So rather than like an alternate, which you can also do, you're doing one at a time. And there's lots of training reasons why it's good to try this both ways. So today, we do this exercise in other videos. Today, do one leg at a time, stretching. I use the yellow is the lowest resistance band because I was a little scared that I might not make it through. But you can use a more difficult one if you would like. And then you're gonna do the other leg. Woo. And I was just not doing a Pilates arm, but this is usually where they want you to keep that Pilates arm. So this is actually a little bit easier for me than when they make us switch legs every single time. So if I was only doing this for myself, I probably would make myself do this. Just because that destabilizes my core a bit more. Woo, rest. Oh, good night. These resistance bands come in three colors. If you've got these at home, yellow is beginner level, green is like intermediate level, and blue is like advanced level. Now, having said that, I really wish I hadn't said that because that's not what I mean. I don't mean that like, oh, if I'm an advanced dancer, then I should be using the blue for everything. There are actual exercises where that would not be the right choice. What I mean is least amount of resistance, right? Think about them like weights. If this is a 5-pound weight, then this is a 10-pound weight, and this is a 15-pound weight, okay? There are some exercises that would not be, they wouldn't make sense to do with a really, really tough resistance band. What did I miss, Miss Desiree? Oh, side plank work, didn't I?
Side plank work, yep.
Are we still doing that? We're doing like a side
We
plank?
are. This
and
is
we're
side
lifting.
two.
Okay. All right, friends.
You can still use the resistance loop on this, but
Ooh, of course you can. Of course you
it's
can.
a bit more challenging if you don't have very good balance such as myself.
Right? Okay, well, I don't either, so let's.
But
That's gonna be
give it a
great.
try.
So I'm gonna get my bigger resistance loop because now I don't want to have it around my ankles. I want it around my thighs. So I need the bigger one. And we are, if you can, you're in a side plank. Were we on our forearm?
Yes.
To do? Okay. So forearm side plank, which I literally don't even think I can do on camera, but I'm gonna do a modified one. Right here.
They're
Right
hard.
here. Oh wait, how do I? All right, pretend I'm in the air. Okay, I'm in the air. What you're meant to do here is an elbow side plank, and then you're lifting and lowering the top leg here. Okay, which I actually can't do. Oh, I bet I'm supposed to bend my lower leg. I bet my top leg. Okay, bend your lower leg if you are like me and you're modifying, so that you can press up to here. There we go. Now you can touch the floor with your toe. Oh, I got it. It's like, how do I modify this? Okay, so there you go. If just holding side plank, like me, is work for you, you can just do that. Again, if I were doing this for me, I probably would just hold my side plank. I'd just take my resistance band off and hold my side plank. But if you want to modify and get this work on, then you bend. Now I'm showing you on the other leg, you bend the bottom leg, which is not normally how you modify a side plank. And then you press up into your forearm here, and you extend and lower. Ooh. So however you want to do that, you can do 16 on each leg. Take your resistance band off. We're getting up. Always remember, when you're going up and down during a workout like this, be careful when you're getting up. Most fitness instructors ask you to do like a forward fold like this and then roll up slowly. And I always do that as well. That's a safe way to get up off the ground. That way, if you have a lightheaded, dizzy spell, and you have a spill, you fall down, your hands are already ready to catch you. And also rolling up helps to adjust your blood pressure before you're fully up. Now we're gonna do some bar stuff. If you were wondering if we were ever gonna get to the bar today. And I'm gonna do what I always do, which is bring my yoga mat over here so I can stand on it. And then you can have your weight for this part. And I kind of want to cry a little bit because it looks like we're doing the fire hydrant thing that I find so challenging. So challenging.
It's so good to have a mirror, but
Yeah, and we're doing our arm at the same time. Did I miss anything else, Miss Desiree? Or did they do any other like stuff before
we did
that?
the
Oh.
lunge and twist.
Long. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's not
that's
miss
a
that
good
because
one. Don't miss that one.
that I'm better. That'll increase my my ego a bit.
And then after that you get to do the small.
Okay.
So that one
Okay.
is next to.
Okay, thank you. So this is a really good example of something that Miss Desiree just showed me off camera, how to do this knee pull thing without the bar. And lots of you probably don't need the bar. And so if you don't need the bar, you don't need to use it, but I yes need the bar. Okay, you do one leg long behind you and you bend the knee you're standing on. You can take your weight if you want it and extend it here, and then you're bringing both together and squeezing together, okay? I'm gonna hold on to the bar for that. Do those. And then I keep it in and I pulse the squeeze because we are not messing around. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my torso forward here and bring my knees together because I need that torso support so that I can lift and lower in fire hydrant. And my arm is doing the same movement, so I'm getting a little shoulder deltoid lift at the same time. I still have a plie in the leg I'm standing on. Are we on the other side now, Miss Desiree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, up. Oh my goodness. I don't know what you were doing while I was talking, but I have no plans to do it as well. I'm just going to join you on the other side.
Okay.
Aha!
Aha!
Oh my goodness. I feel like so you can do this fire hydrant movement with your torso higher, but for me, that ends up in my lower back. Whereas if I engage my core really fully and almost like flat back forward, so I'm not standing here and drooping. I don't have a rounded back. I'm not hanging my abdominals out. but there's something for me about the core support of coming here that then I can focus on my leg and not feel like, well, 4 is all I can do, so I hope 4 is the answer to how many we're doing. Which so far, it never has been, not one time. So now I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna do the other side with my knee, pull. I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna hold it up, and I'm gonna pulse for 8. Okay? And then I'm gonna lean forward, but again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I've got my elbow bent at a 90-degree angle, and also my leg bent at a 90-degree angle. And then I'm lifting both and lowering, and I'm gonna do 8 of those, if I can make it. Whew. If you start to feel like you can't finish something, 2 more, before you quit, ask yourself, rest, what part of your body is telling you to stop? It helps with the awareness of your development as a dancer. If you can ask yourself that, is it my cardio? Are my lungs and my heart rate going, stop lady, am I too hot? Sometimes you're just too hot, which you can take a moment, pause your video, get the fan started, if you've got a weighted vest on, take it off so you have more cooling available to you. Take your tank top off, do whatever you gotta do, right, okay? Or it might be a muscle group. And if it is a muscle group, that's just interesting. For Miss Desiree and I, often with all of that booty leg stuff, it has to do with our supporting leg, the leg we're standing on. The second time we do something, we're like, no, this isn't gonna happen.
It's tired.
It's tired, and so that's great. In that case, you don't need to adapt for that information. That's what it's supposed to do. Presumably, if we keep doing it and stay after it, we'll get better and better. Come to your second position and just do a few of these lovely swing forward. They're almost like, I want to say that they are like a kettlebell exercise, but they really are, they just look like one. They are in no way actually a kettlebell, because kettlebell actually is designed on purpose. They want you to swing down and lower your torso, and then when you come up and forward, they do want you to bend your knees so you can protect your lower back, and they want you to push everything forward and then come back. And I don't want you to do that here. I want you to come up to a long, supported ballet spine. One more. Okay, now that looks difficult. What were we doing right before this, Miss Desiree? It was something that I like to do.
The wood chopper.
Oh, the wood chopper, thank you. Oh, I love a good wood chopper. This, if you've never done a wood chopper before, take a moment. It's important to make sure that you hear what you're supposed to be doing in terms of safety, and I'm not gonna repeat the whole lesson here, but the cardio video that we posted last week has like a 5-minute explanation in it from me about how to do the wood chopper safely. So do not just jump into this if you've never done it before. You need to hear my words about where you're turned out, where you're parallel, where your power comes from. Anytime you're doing any of this, any kind of a swinging motion with weight, you need to be really, really intentional about supporting your core and controlling the movement. We are letting momentum help us here, but we are not letting momentum rip us around, because we don't want wood chopper whiplash. Oh, and rest. If you do enough of those, it should start to build up in your body as some cardio as well, instead of just feeling like an abdominal exercise, which personally I like better. I need a distraction. When I do wood chopper, I don't necessarily notice how much of a demand it's creating on my abdominals. And that's great. When we do those really targeted Pilates ones, that's when I'm like miserable. Oh. I'm gonna do 2 more, because I didn't want to do any more. So whenever you don't want to do any more, do at least 2 more. of whatever it is. I know for a lot of these, I'm not saying exactly how many I want you to do, and that's partly because I want these videos to basically be a list of exercises that you can fit to your own experience. You can do more of something simply by pausing us and then doing more and then unpausing us and letting us go on. Now, we're gonna come to that. This is the open arabesque, chassé, open arabesque one. We do this one in men's class, as opposed to in other videos, we've done one where we're closed to the audience in like a quasi, and that's usually in attitude. Okay, so we're not doing that, we're now doing here and here. And remember that you can jump this one. And you can also, I will not be demonstrating this, but you can beat this one. Right here, like a cabriole beat. Got it, okay. You can also beat, in second, you can go here, 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 and take the travel out. Here, here, here. So you have choices. Whew. Take a tiny break if you need to breathe like I do. And then when your heart rate comes down a little bit, you want to try and bounce through that, touch through that, rather than doing something high intensity and then just stopping and standing still. That is it's not great for your body. It's a little bit like asking your heart to run really, really fast and then giving it a brick wall that it has to slam up against, okay? So you want to let it come down gradually so that it's low enough that you can come onto the floor. Now, I missed something again, Miss Desiree. Were we in Beast again? Or did we get to have our knees on the ground?
We got to have our knees on the ground.
Hooray!
Yeah, so it was the...
I love it. Oh, we got our forearms too?
No,
Okay.
no,
I was like,
no,
is that?
no, actually, that would make it harder.
Oh.
Because it's out.
Okay. Lateral extension.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. All right. So, it's true. We're all a little bit odd, right? This is, so come to all fours. All fours in a fitness and a dance and a Pilates and a yoga sense always means shoulders over palms and hips over knees. So always make sure that you're geared up that way. And what we're doing with the leg is, I'm gonna do my weaker leg first. That is a modification that it's not really a modification. That is a tip from Miss Desiree and I to you. You really wanna go ahead and do that, okay? And then you're lifting laterally, then you extend, bring it back to bend, and put it down. And then you stick with the same leg the whole time, Miss Desiree?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's just dreadful. So if I do that straight on, you can see I lift, and then I extend, and so that leg, for you dance students, is like in a lateral second, or in like a parallel second, okay?
Well, do you really want to hit me until you with modifier?
Yeah.
Or
The intensifier.
The intensifier?
What is the intensifier? It is, I just knew it. Oh my gosh, I bet you can guess too. So your goal here is to keep your back flat and your abdominals engaged. If I start with my knees over my hips, okay, with my knees parted, and then I have to lift a leg, I'm trying to point these in the camera so you can see what not to do. Then what happens is I have to shift everything over here in order to hold the leg up. Well, that's because I need more core strength here. This is not working my core, and so this would be a situation where if you get done doing these lateral raises, you have like extreme soreness and muscle fatigue in the supporting leg, you probably were doing like Miss Stephanie and you had your weight too far over here. I have to keep it centered, okay, so that my abdominals are turned on as I lift and extend and come back. So, when I do one of these, I start with my knees apart as usual, but then when I'm ready to pick up my leg, I bring the supporting one into center so that it's visually between my two hands, and then I lift. That allows me to stay over my leg and keep my back flat and keep my abdominals turned on, but it doesn't let me settle down into that supporting side the way that we sometimes do at the bar. Just really not good for us. Okay, so then I can bring the other one center and do the same thing. I forgot to do my extensions. I think I just did lifts on that side. But at this point now I'm just like lecturing anyway, so there you go. Up, whoo-hoo, like that. Now, the enhancement that Miss Desiree just told me about on camera is that you can probably guess, is that you can do those lateral raises in beast plank. And so then you don't have to bring a knee in, right? You lift it up here, and then you point one, and you go here, 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 here. Now, I can do some of those, but I would have to do one leg and then the other in order to, and alternate in order to avoid fatigue. You can do that too. If you're like, I can work in beast mode. I can work in beast plank, but I can't do them all on one leg. Then do right, left, alternating those. But whatever you do 16 on each leg, however you get there, which might include doing 4 and then resting, and then doing 4 more. Just keep at it until you've got all of them on each side. Whew. Did I miss anything else, Miss Desiree?
One more, your least favorite.
Oh, my least favorite.
Okay.
Oh, I do hate this one, but some people love it, so let me give it to you, and you can do it if you love it, and I'll give you an option.
And this one also includes the weights.
Ooh, now I do love that.
A weight to the side.
So I love like cross body abdominal stuff, but you know why I love it? It's because my body is good at it. That's why. Okay, you know what my body's not good at? This hinge thing that we often do in Pilates. So come up onto your knees fully. You can do this in parallel, meaning that as you look at yourself straight on, your feet are right behind your knees, or you can bring your toes together in the back and do this, which feels a bit better to me. But be careful if you're bringing your toes together like this, because it can add some added tension on the outside of your knees here. And if you feel that, please don't do this, okay? But what I do like about having my toes together is that then I can engage all my gluteal muscles that I use for turnout, my ballet muscles. Okay, so I can turn all of that beautiful stuff out, and then I can take my hands here, and then if you look at me from the side, this is a little bit like the V-sit. It's probably why it's so hard for me. They're both so hard for me, because we're keeping our back flat, and then we lower back. You lower back as far as you can without your quads giving out, or your back flattening, or rounding. This is the other one. Woo, like that. See how I just lost my ability to hold my pelvis in position, right? I had to tip like this. So then I went, oh, note to self, okay, I can't go back that far. And you, pulse those. 16 pulses. You can hold your weights where you do those pulses if you would like, and then lower back, and you can twist side to side with your weight. Woo-hoo! I won't be doing any more of those. You can twist with your weight and do 16 of those. So 16 total, meaning like 8 pairs of right, left. Yeah. What was I going to say about that? Oh, in your range of motion here, when you're twisting, your hips stay facing straight forward. So what we don't want you to do is we don't want you to twist your whole body so that your hips and legs are going with you, or if your hips are going with you but your legs aren't, which is going to create all sorts of bad torsion in your lower leg. So we don't want you to do that. Keep your hips pointed at your camera or your mirror or the wall, okay, and twist. This is a twist through the waist, okay? Think about those twisting muscles here. Those are the ones that should be turned on there, okay? You made it through core. Oh. Well done. Make sure that when you get up off the mat, that you do that slowly. I would normally, demonstrating this like open forward fold position here, I would encourage you to drop your head, and mine would also be dropped. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm still having some sinusitis. But if you are not experiencing sinusitis, then please drop your head. And I always ask you to shake your head yes, and shake your head no, and that's to get you to relax all the muscles in your neck and let the weight of your head draw your body down closer and further, which once you've made acquaintanceship with how that feels, you can do it without dropping your head if you have a sinus infection. Otherwise, always drop your head. And then bend your knees and roll up slowly. Take hold of something if you need to, and find yourself upright. And then, go turn off your camera because you made it. Thanks so much for joining us. See you tomorrow.